Hello, I'm Barry, the Grey Golfiatric. Welcome to my video on chipping. There are two ways to chip and two heights for a chip. I used to be a wrist chipper, some days hot, sometimes stone cold. I converted to arm chipping in my 40s. I found I became more consistent when chipping. Having said that, I'll admit to some wrist action in my chipping. A little bit. Jordan Spieth is a wrist chipper. He cocks his wrists on the backswing. Jason Day is an arm chipper. There is almost no wrist action when he chips this ball. There's some very good wrist chippers and some very good arm chippers. My take on chipping is a scientific one. When you chip with your wrists and arms, there are two variables. When you chip with your arms only, there is only one variable. One variable is much easier to control than two at the same time. My chipping principles are as follows. I bias my weight towards my left foot. If I want to hit a low running chip, I will play it from the back foot. If I want to hit a high chip, I will be playing it off my front foot. I always accelerate the club head into the ball. If you want touch with your chipping, you have to be prepared to practice it. At this point, I should explain what bounce means and why it is important. When I place my zero bounce sand iron perpendicular to the shaft of another club, there is almost no gap between the leading edge of the sand iron and the horizontal shaft of the other club. With my other sand iron that has bounce, there is a distinct gap. The ball lying in lush grass should be played with my higher bounce sand iron. The zero bounce sand iron would only dig in. It would dig in too much, resulting in a weak chip. On short grass, I could play either or a pitching wedge. On bare dirt, using a club with bounce is a very low percentage shot. There's a very good chance I would hit the ball skinny going too far. When I am in lettuce this deep close to the green, I don't mess around trying to finesse the shot. I take my normal bounce sand iron and hit firmly. My go-to clubs are my pitching wedge and my low bounce sand iron. I use the sand iron for flop shots and I use the pitching wedge for longer shots. I follow the advice of Jack Nicklaus. I prefer to hit my chips high enough to land on the putting surface and roll out to the pin. I am exaggerating two faults which lead to inconsistent chipping. The first is trying to pick up the ball. Club face loft is there to be used. Let the club head do the work. The second I call falling off the ball. Weight stays on the back foot. Weight on the front foot at address. Hands in front of the club head. Consistent chipping. I normally start practice with my zero bounce, very old sand iron. I've broken a few hearts in match play with this club. I always give myself a chipping target. I'm trying to hit the ball with my arms only, wrist action minimum. The payoff is when I have a testing downhill chip like this. With a standard bounce sand iron, I could well be off the green. As it is, I have a straight 10-foot putt uphill. I try to minimise my lower body movement when chipping. It is very important to accelerate the club head into the ball. Trying to obtain touch by decelerating the stroke usually doesn't end well. I also try to hit with my arms only. I am hitting the ball with an open club face and open stance. If I want a running shot, I de-loft the club face. My stance is very stable. Chipping practice can be boring, so I let off some steam with full shots after the chipping session. About 2 days after filming the practice session, I had a game at Happy City. 81 is my best round there so far. It could have been even better, but for a triple bogey at the third last hole. The regrets of a golfer. I got down in 2 from off the green on 5 holes and once out of a bunker. I holed out 2 chips for birdies. If that isn't convincing evidence of the value of chipping for an older golfer, I don't know what is. My next video will be on bunker shots. They are not difficult if one follows 3 basic principles. With a bit of practice, no one should fear going into a bunker. Until then, good golfing.